government to the fight we down. A government to the school. A government with integrity. Now look how they understand. A government in sweetie and tea. Now without the bullet man everybody. Rowley at a go. 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 Tell them go. Rowley at a go. Rowley at a go. Rowley at a go. Rowley at a go. Now everybody let's vote. Put them out. Vote. Put them out. Vote. Put them out. The Rowley time to resign. Vote. Put them out. Vote. Put them out. Vote. Put them out. When you see him waving bye bye. Everyone's coming out to bring about a change. I see young and old, we crying out for this. Yeah, one top government to feel policy, a government to the joke, a government to the fight we down, a government to the school, a government with integrity. Now look how they understand. A government in sweetie and tea. Now without the bullet man everybody. BNM must go. Tell them go. BNM must go. Hey, now everybody let's vote. Put them out. Vote. Put them out. Vote. The Rowley time to resign. Vote. Put them out. Vote. Put them out. Vote. When you see him waving bye bye. Everything's selling out. It's not working out again. It's only draw. They will wipe out we name. Yeah. We want a government to feel policy, a government to the joke, a government to the fight we down, a government to the school, a government with integrity. Now look how they understand. A government in sweetie and tea. Now without the bullet man everybody. Rowley at a go. Rowley at a go. Tell them go. Rowley at a go. Now everybody let's vote. Put them out. Vote. Put them out. The Rowley time to resign. Vote. Put them out. Vote. Put them out. When you see him waving bye bye. UNC for Wale. Rowley at a go. BNM must go. Tell them go. BNM must go. Everyone's coming out to bring about a change. I see young and old, we crying out for this. Yeah, one top government to feel policy, a government to the joke, a government to the fight we down, a government to the school, a government. Tell them go. Rowley at a go. Now everybody let's vote. Put them out. Vote. Put them out. The Rowley time to resign. Vote. Put them out. Vote. When you see him waving bye bye. Rowley at a go. BNM must go. Tell them go. BNM must go. Everyone's coming out to bring about a change. I see young and old, we crying out for this. Yeah, one top government to feel policy, a government to the joke, a government to the fight we down, a government to the school, a government with integrity. Now look how they understand. A government in sweetie and tea. Now without the bullet man everybody. BNM must go. Tell them go. BNM must go. Hey, now everybody let's vote. Put them out. Vote.
Yes, indeed. Pleasant good night to all and sundry. Yes, Rowley must go, have to go. And of course, the will of the people will prevail. Pleasant good night to all and sundry. Yes, let's listen to the youths as they, of course, chase Rowley out of town. A very hot and long 2024.
We want a government to drill policy, a government to do joke, a government to do fight we down, a government to do smoke, a government with integrity. Now look how they understand. A government in sweetie and tea. Now without the bullet man, everybody. Rowley at a go, Rowley at a go, Rowley at a go, Rowley at a go, Rowley at a go. Tell them go, Rowley at a go, Rowley at a go, Rowley at a go, Rowley at a go. Now everybody let's vote, put them out, vote, put them out, vote, put them out. The Rowley time to resign. Vote, put them out, vote, put them out, vote, put them out. When you see him waving bye bye.
That was a paid political.
B&M must go. Everyone's coming out to bring about a change. I see young and old, we crying out for this. Yeah, want a government to drill policy, a government to do joke, a government to do fight we down, a government to do smoke, a government with integrity. Now look how they understand. A government in sweetie and tea. Now without the bullet man, everybody. B&M must go. Tell them go. B&M must go. Hey, now everybody let's vote. Put them out. Vote, put them out. Vote, put them out. The Rowley time to resign. Vote, put them out. Vote, put them out. Vote.
Rowley, a dog. How high the crime rate is in the country now, boy. Forest, come down. Inbut, come down. UNC, in tongue. I don't want to leave you on top the horse. I need you to come down here for me now. You're claiming B&M them is boss, but look how high the crime rate is now. B&M feel the bright. They can win election tonight. Come down from there, Rowley. Take me to with that vibe. Champa, go to them, they not nice. Come down from there, Rowley. I just want to warn you before the mixing would concern you. They went like keto and walk voodoo for the people and them to vote you. On the IG post you look nice. 1 million followers, 1 million likes. In the grocery the food price high. Yeah, we 2% and feed me with line. That man can mama guy. You feel it too bright. Yeah, we need election tonight. Come down from there, Rowley. Take me to pay that vice. Calling in with them, they not nice. Come down from there, Rowley. Hines, how you come down? You're going on the beat up to mama guy, poor people. Good, you get wet down. Champa always in a zest. Least for development in a mess. Can you give the government credit, Jadaros? Remember when you buy all the wig and dress? Comments a million, see here check. Tell the people them how you get it. B&M government them on fit. Every minute them would raise the budget. B&M government them on fit. Suffer poor people in pandemic. B&M government them on fit. Give we 2% then they laugh at it. B&M government them on fit. B&M feel the bright. They can win election tonight. Come down from there, Rowley. Take me to pay that vice. Champa, go to them, they not nice. Come down from there, Rowley. Rowley, come down. UNC, in tongue. Forest, come down. UNC, in tongue. Rohan, come down. UNC, in tongue. Imbut, come down. UNC, in tongue. B&M feel the bright. They can win election tonight. Come down from there, Rowley. Take me to pay that vice. Champa, go to them, they not nice. Come down from there, Rowley. I just want to warn you before the mixing would concern you. They went like keto and walk voodoo for the people and them to vote you. On the IG post you look nice. 1 million followers, 1 million likes.
I have a political cemetery. It's not for people like you and me. It is for all them politicians. And I dig in their grave, no fuck with me hand. I find some of them, they living too long. And every 5 years is the same old song. Some of them dead, just shame to lie down. So I prepare for them a burial ground. Rowley, my first grave for he. With joy in my heart, put him down with glee. All of them useless politicians, only making up numbers in my island. I don't care all who go vex with me. She is a strong, determined woman like me and deserve a chance to run this country. When she in power, I don't go hungry. And Calypsonian does get big money. She don't deserve no spot in my cemetery. I putting she in the center of the city.
Jano, hit me now. Because I'm begging the master, give me a walk with Peter. If I some sinners coming, with them I go be dealing. Because the things that they do me, I want to fix them personally. Peter wait, Peter look Cecil Rhodes by the gate. Funny. Peter look the Englishman, we send Cecil Rhodes to Africa land. Funny. Peter take finance, big shot friends and family. So the whole of the country wants you now to stop lying. Cause the next election is a new party we voting. Like you forget your people once you in power and you're moving evil, you had the whole place sour. And now that we discover is 2% that they offer. This is one little thing that I want all you to remember. We fed up all your life. You could do much better. Gas prices going up too high. The cost of living is getting harder. Guys, let me put in my copyright claim. I don't own the rights of the music played, neither the melody. I'm a madman. Okay.
From the Trinidad, location 7 miles off the coast of Venezuela. SOS, Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. Help! The Trinidad, a luxury liner, Caribbean Sea, with an old captain named Eric Williams. Oh yes, it's smooth and free, but sadly Eric Williams passed away. The ship hit rough water that day. Someone turned the bridge over to a captain named Chambers. Me blood crawl, things start to fall. Hold me head when I sail a ball. Captain, this ship is sinking. Captain, the seas are rough. Oh yes, we gas tank almost empty, no electricity. We oil pressure reading low. Shall we abandon ship or shall we stay on it and perish slow? We don't know. Captain, you tell me what to do.
A very serious revelation that came to us within the last few hours. And I have something in my hand, a document in my hand. And I will begin by making a statement that when the day comes, when we depend on Venezuela for accountability and transparency, we reach. Let me repeat that. When we in Trinidad and Tobago have to depend on Venezuela for accountability and transparency, we reach. Our democracy itself has collapsed. Our institutions, public institutions, have collapsed when we depend on Venezuela for accountability. This is a country, quite recently, is facing re-sanction. They are going to be re-sanctioned because they have upheld a ban on Maria Machado, the leading presidential candidate in the Venezuelan election from the opposition, has been banned from contesting. Ms. Machado. Maria Machado, I believe is her name. And this is a country that does that. But now we have to depend on them for accountability. In a publication, and I have it in my hand, the official Gazette of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, dated Monday, 29th January 2024, Caracas. I have it in my hand. This is the official Gazette of the Venezuelan government, in which they have published the agreement between the government of Venezuela and the government of Trinidad and Tobago over the Dragon deal. When Stuart Young and Rowley say this thing is secret, we can't tell you, we cannot disclose, I have in my hand this document of about 35 pages, which is the deal. This is the Dragon deal that Stuart Young and Keith Rowley refused to tell the people of Trinidad and Tobago. As Mr. Tanku said, this has all the ingredients. Do you remember, members of the press, the scandals involving sandals? Where in Barbados, they had to tell us what's happening in Trinidad. Well, in Caracas, we need to find out what's happening in Maracas. We need to know what is happening in Trinidad from Venezuela. This is where we reach. And this is not the only matter that disturbs us this morning.
Oh, yes, indeed, of course, pleasant good night to all and sundry family, family and formally. Of course, welcome to the corridor transformation. I trust that you're getting me nicely because I don't have a monitoring system in the office. I trust that my colleagues in studio will, of course, assist me if the voice is not coming across as one would have expected. But I trust that is so. A pleasant good night, of course. And as I promised last night, we will continue with, of course, the disclosures of that of the Dragon deal. It's simply because it is of national interest. It is of national interest, and we see a pattern of behavior of this government, believing that somehow it can arrogate onto itself because it has this illusionary, monolithic, huge, monstrous mandate to manage the affairs of the country. Nobody will believe in the farthest reaches of their intellect. Nobody would believe that Rowley and they only have 22 seats out of 41. Nobody would believe. And you can arrogate on yourself, unconscionable, disregarding the fact that the population don't trust you. That is why you have only 22 seats. That is why when it's coming, of course, to draconian measures as we would normally see, whether it be for anti-gang or whether it be for no bail, or whether it be, of course, for attempting to interfere with people's pocket people's private property, like in the case of property tax, and in the case of the Revenue Authority. No, the people said no, they don't trust you. And to even make it more pellucid, more clear, Wise, of course, in 2015, they gave you 23 seats. In 2020, they gave you 22. You don't know that you are in decline, and the people are saying transparency, accountability, good governance is what they want. And that is why they have given, of course, the opposition that powerful number, so much so that they were able, of course, to initiate the impeachment of a president. Never before happened. And it could have only happened because the opposition is placed in this powerful position of 19 seats. Let no one disrespect you. Let no one attempt to trivialize the significance of 19 seats as opposed to 22. Why you think that when 3 or 4 of them are out of the country, there is no parliament? Because the UNC will literally have the majority and take over. That is why. Understand? And it has happened as an illustration twice in one sitting. And there was a debate when, of course, ministers and or parliamentarians from the PNM side tell themselves, all right, the 19 members of the opposition was in the parliament. And there was 19, of course, members of the opposition. In a simple, what should have been a simple exercise that the PNM took for granted on that occasion, and decided that somehow the opposition will agree. Well, good strategy on their part, recognizing that they were short, recognizing that they generated, of course, a shooting of themselves in their own leg. And I don't want to apologize or in any way seek pardon for using the analogy shoot, because that is commonplace. It was Rowley who said, when people were talking war, but verbally, as Robert Amar was thrown out of a press conference at the diplomatic center. And Rowley has this arrogant propensity to believe that somehow the public office, our office, called the diplomatic center and the home of the prime minister, whosoever he or she may be, he likes to talk about, I allow you to come. Clearly a man who, of course, has lost his marbles and is in a perpetual state of not just deficiency, but inferiority complex. Every time he speaks as prime minister, you should by now know that you are, but because of the questionable nature of your prime ministerial acquisition, he has to, of course, remind himself and the population. And of course, a total rapscallion and one that is totally ineffective, inefficient, and of course, has demonstrated, of course, a paucity of ministerial characteristics that has become known both to not just to academics or persons studying constitution or studying, of course, of politics, but to anybody with a modicum or a potpourri of common sense. Totally unqualified. Doesn't have the acumen. But I'll tell you this, he's a blasted good actor. He acted his way. In other words, an actor is not real, so therefore he lied his way. Acting or actor is just a euphemism, a nice way to say that he lied his way from the beginning, as we have demonstrated over and over on this program. Tonight we will continue, of course, that like inspired, of course, by a caller last night who doesn't want to face reality, that, of course, Rowley and they are totally and absolutely have created not just a shambolic situation in Trinidad and Tobago because of their incompetence, impotence, and their conmanship, conman and conwomanship, and therefore are in our faces intolerably and to the point of being ad nauseum, sickening. But they continue because they know that there is a 5-year span that they are determined, of course, to exhaust. But 2025 is around the corner. And 2024, a long, hot 12 months. And those who are sycophants and don't want to face the reality and are in denial, like the caller last night, I say to you, eat your heart out. There is more to come, and more to come, and more to come as we expose. And as somebody said last night as well, attempting to generate damage control, and even that they cannot do with any degree of efficaciousness or convincing, because we were castigating, we were vitriolic. We were excoriating. We were dismissive of the nonsense surrounding, of course, the Dragon gas deal that Young, after, of course, the venerable, the honorable, the patriotic opposition disclosed to us as it became national conversation. And in an attempt, of course, to try to salvage the narrative, salvage the dialogue, try to dig deep into the clearly a very emaciated, if not emaciating, a propaganda, a machinery. They have now gone below the barrel to see what they can get. Of course, you only have to look at Hines being the minister of National Security to understand that fact. Of course, we take your calls as per usual, 337-6940. You call me at that number, only WhatsApp, and don't bother with, of course, the language. It's all right. If that, what I consider a fellow who is in a total, almost perpetual delusionary mood, attempting, of course, to shift the conversation away from Rowley. And as I said last night, he wants, of course, me to accept that he is the supporter and his leader is a rapist and pedophile. I'm talking about Rowley. He wants me to accept that, and he wants you to accept that as he tries to shift the conversation. But our tenacity and our sense of right and wrong, and of course acknowledging those trolls and those persons who would like to shift the conversation, we are not going to, of course, entertain. And I'm sure that person who, of course, wants to make us believe that somehow Rowley is some kind of leader. Listen to him. A pleasant good night. A pleasant good night. A pleasant good night. Like he gone. A pleasant good night. Talk, man. Talk. Yes, they are going to be disruptive. That's all they can do. They can attempt to be disruptive, but we will be focused. And we will be, of course, determined, and we will not relent. As I said, total incompetence, total inability to manage the affairs, and will stay in our faces as if nothing is wrong. And as I said, Rowley, a good actor, and an actor clearly is a liar, since, of course, they are in a perpetual state of illusion and delusion and deception. And let's continue, of course, with Muilal as he, of course, exposes the Dragon deal. And as we said last night, it's only a nincompoop, a best short tongue that hush, and not exercise and abuse language, and of course the orifice called the oral cavity that, of course, contributes to the formulation of words, which, of course, is a gift, a special feature of human beings to communicate. I mean, the man is totally out of it. One question: why did you not disclose those things that Munilal disclosed to the population? We wouldn't have this conversation today. But let us...
In this matter, the Ministry of the People, Power of Petroleum is stating, and I quote, resolution by which, for strategic reasons specific to the gaseous hydrocarbon field, the license for exploration and exploitation of non-associated gaseous hydrocarbons of the Dragon field belonging to the Mariscal Sucre.
Pleasant good night. Pleasant good night.
Hell yes.
Yeah, the tune does offend. Yes, I know. So of course, there is nobody can be a fool for anybody. They can only be a fool for themselves. All right, so we are going to ignore and let's get on with the business because he has nothing to contribute to himself, his children, or the nation. So therefore,
area is granted directly and indivisible with a prior authorization from the Council of Ministers to the companies. Here the company the license is granted to. NGC Exploration and Production Limited, a company duly incorporated under the laws of Trinidad and Tobago and registered in Point Lisas, Trinidad and Tobago. And Shell Venezuela, they are making a deal with a company called NGC Exploration and Production. No one in Trinidad and Tobago know of a company named NGC Exploration and Production. NGC is a company in this country that exists, if you look at their website, for the business of distributing, marketing, selling gas. They are a middleman, so to speak. They take gas from a producer and they market it, they distribute, they transport, of course, and they sell. That is NGC. NGC is not a production and exploration company. Where does this company come from? Why have they been keeping it a secret? Why we must ask Venezuela for their gazette? Why? Why the dishonesty? Why the lack of disclosure? Why the lack of accountability? That Stuart Young cannot tell us that a company is registered that we don't know about. The people of Trinidad and Tobago never heard of this company. Heritage Petroleum on its website said that their role is the production, exploration of oil and gas. Traditionally, Petrotrin, with all the various arms of Petrotrin, would deal with what is called the gas production exploration. NGC is a middleman seller. They go to the market, they bring the product. When you produce, they take it to the market and sell and make a profit. That's how it's done. NGC is not equipped. NGC doesn't have the human resource capacity, the technical capability, the very serious scientific capacities and so on, to be involved in exploration and production of gas. They are sellers, by and large. Today, we are told of a ghost company. It may not be ghost, but we never hear about it, called NGC Exploration and Production. I will come back to this agreement now. But what is amazing is that those of us in the UNC, and I keep telling the national community, we don't talk without paper.
Let us pause there before, of course, he brings more what is considered to be not just factual evidence, not just tangible and palpable and tactile evidence, not just irrefutable evidence, not just good evidence. But it is important for you to understand because, of course, Stuart Young, after that revelation, said that that is normal. I mean, who the hell he thinks he's talking to? You cannot just say no that it is normal to form a company, to treat with an agreement like that, which of course Trinidad and Tobago have been engaged in. You cannot say that. You see, the fact of the matter is that there has been, of course, this project.
We don't talk without paper.
Never
and let me,
with the,
I think before I say this one, I need to
with any other
have a sip.
company or country. It is unique, and therefore
I need my voice well
moist
alone for this one.
Must be just
when we checked at the company records in Trinidad and Tobago, what did we find? Now we had to look for this because Stuart Young will not tell us.
Just a minute. Let me just.
They will not tell the people.
Just now. All right, go ahead. Go ahead, my friend.
Right, I ain't staying long. I just calling to find out from you. I could call you after the program.
Yeah, call me after the program. Yeah, call me after the program. Yeah?
All right, locked on and listening.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, cool. Right.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
Of Trinidad and Tobago.
But I want to make the point that if it is you have NGC, production, exploration and production, all of us know what NGC does. Quite apart, of course, for the first time, since its life under the Rowley administration, it lose money. And the PNM had acknowledged it as a cash cow because they were strident. And they tried to, of course, generate some kind of poison in relation, of course, in relation to generate poison in relation, of course, to NGC and the use of the accumulated resources, financial, for reasons that are outside of its portfolio, its main operations, gas and the collection and the monetizing of gas and distributing it, of course, to point leases in the main. But the fact of the matter is that at the end of it all, both the Manning administration, the UNC administration, as well as the hypocritical, nasty and deceptive Rowley administration also used it outside of its main or core purpose and operation, and that is they use it, of course, to light up football fields, recreational grounds, and in the case of the UNC, in order, of course, to give us the 75 to 80% water supply, they also, of course, use resources from the NGC to try, of course, to convert sewer water for palatable water through a program with WASA to provide that water for industrial purposes to point leases so that they could free up water coming from the desal plant and other, of course, facilities and reservoirs across the country so that the population, the ordinary person, you and I, would be able, of course, to get a regular supply, as was the case between 2010 and 2015. Not now. What they are doing, as usual, the PNM is telling us they're digging a well here, they're drilling a well there, and they're telling us, of course, there is an increase in supply by the population, and the very community that was supposed to benefit from that increase or enhance the supply, they too are questioning which community they're talking about. So I'm making the point that NGC's resources was used because of its cash cow nature, because of the fact that it is in an operation that will naturally attract money, just as the oil, gas, and petrochemical industry has been doing for many years in favor of our economy and in favor of contributing to our standard of living and quality of life. It is common sense that the government will use the excess, of course, profits for other purposes, and that is the prerogative anyway of any government to use the resources as they see fit, because at the end of the day, they are the ones who will have to face the electorate to, of course, account for their stewardship. The point I am making is that it cannot be that Rowley and them believe that somehow they can use NGC's excess profits in the way that the UNC had used it, and then start to blame the UNC for, of course, using it in that way, and they must remain scotch-free, pristine, and must not account or demonstrate this level of hypocrisy, bizarre and, of course, nasty hypocrisy that has become stereotypical of this PNM Rowley raperman, delinquent, rapscallion, predator, despicable human being as head of this government. That's the point I'm making. But worse yet, they went further. Apart from hypocritically trying to suggest that somehow when the UNC use the money, there's something wrong with it. But when them use it, it's all right. But NGC end up, of course, losing. Yeah. End up with a loss. Just after COVID, just after the COVID relaxation. Let's put it that way. Pleasant good night. Welcome. A pleasant good night. Welcome.
A good night to you. A pleasant good night. A good night to you, Mr. Lennox, and all your listeners and all the slave catchers. Mr. Lennox,
hey.
That is where I used to always say that children had to account for the dividend in the NGL stock, because when they take the Phoenix gas project and bring it back under NGC, the monies they take and finance it in the US, the Trade 1 project, then they take it to do the Dragon Deal negotiation and the elaborate electricity plant in Point 14. And then he come bandying about that they negotiate gas, and there's no gas, and there's no gas, right? When they was setting the gas to keep it, to give, and he said that the electrical plant in Point, they signed how much it, because the new methanol plant in Labray was supposed to come on stream, was to feed it. And what was the subsidy they give them? Nobody is talking about that. So we catch them in the teeth in at the NGC profit. And then they started to take the NGC profit and move it. And the wastewater plant or the beater, what they was talking about, it was all the industrial water from in Port of Spain. And the runoff would have been treated right through the Caroni swamp down to Point Lisas for the heavy industries cooling system. Because the desal plant, when it was built in Point Lisas, after they treat the salt water, it was showing that it had a high micron of sodium in the water still. And when it go through the cooling system in this plant and them, it was corroding the coolers and them. So they started now to move the desal water and give the public it, right, as domestic water and bring it up to standard. And then the Navet and the Aripo water treatment plant, they had not put emphasis on it, and they said the Caroni water treatment plant is big enough to handle the Port of Spain, the East-West corridor, to Port of Spain to Chagarabas, and to South. It was 40 million gallons coming to a day down the South, and 35 million going to the East-West. And they use those things. All in Picton, all these big tanks and them. The UNC started to refurbish them, to fill them as runoff supply. So that when they store in the rainy season, all these tanks and them, all Diego Martin, all in Picton, them big tank with the paint, right? Was to keep water as storage to send back on the lines when in the dry season. So you would have an adequate, all through the country, all Siparia, they built small tanks and they put in the villages on height, so you could have a gravity flow. So when they're talking, that way the NGC money went, and then into the communities, right? It was doing community development, putting some places where for the first time, box drain, and pavement, street lighting, and sporting facilities, the savannas and them was being provided with funding. So what I want to say, I feel I have to call back again, because I see it on a press conference, the liar gone. He in Baratera say he never say he didn't want no coin talk. No, he talking on a press conference. And Mr. Lennox, I only hope them slave catchers understand what that dictator said. Because as Mr. Lennox, I never talks on national on media, you know, and you have to show, you know, that man is not a liar and not a thief, but that man gone clear. Somebody had to do something to tell that man enough is enough, you know. That man changed the whole, that's broadcast, when the reporter questioned him, and that man turned everything he said. That man got a line blatant and said that the opposition, you don't want no crime talk, and he put everything in place. Mr. Lennox, Here, I can see how I good title. That man create a criminality enterprise in this country and go to America and tell them they guns killing people because if they don't get the dragon gas to create job for them, we doom and the guy climb out of place and then he's showing that Christopher did fail. Mr. Lawrence, God be with me and have a pleasant good night. I only hope the bed bugs they bite. All the slave catchers, keep the good work going on, why? But great is the UNC and we have to unite and get them out. Good night.
Thank you very much. And I want to commend, of course, the caller and all the callers, in fact, because, of course, I don't profess to know all. And I think I just laid the foundation, and you see how comprehensive as he laid, of course, layer upon layer in terms of the function of the NGC and its functionality and its utility under the UNC, and how far it has reached in terms of outside of its main core operations. As he went, of course, into not only the SAL initiative, and should I say, the wastewater, because I remember very distinctly when that was happening, I was made a temporary senator in the Senate by Basio Pandey in the main. And of course, we were talking about WASA being divided into two. The wastewater aspect of it will be separated from, of course, the, should I say, palatable and portable and drinking water for human consumption. They would be separated. But clearly, the foundation was being laid for, of course, the winning or treating of course, the sewer and other material that would be otherwise toxic for human consumption by, of course, the wastewater treatment plant. And so easing up the water that would normally go to Point Lisas through the normal system, but they can get their own supply through that mechanism, and therefore the rest of it can come to us so that we do not experience what we are experiencing today. But of course, the PNM would like to make, or would have made, political hullabaloo about the entire exercise. Remember that? He was talking about the company that was, of course, hired to do that exercise, and that they could understand. And he talked about the incestuous relationship between NGC and WASA, as if, of course, the government of the day, it was not within their right and their prerogative and their authority to engage in that way in order to deliver to the people a reliable source and a reliable supply of water. But I thank the caller for, of course, going all there, lighting up, of course, grounds as well as box drains, etc. And that is the level of discussion we must have. That is the level of discussion. And we must, of course, engage. Yes, indeed. Let me see. There is some issue here with respect to, wonder why Facebook is not up, I understand, and running. I understand Facebook is not up and running. And let me just check and see what is happening there in terms of what has to happen. Oh, I think I did something wrong on this occasion. All right, let me just boot up a bit and see what's happening before, of course, I go further. Let me see. All right. All right. I did, in fact, do what I had to do. What's the problem? Let me see. All right. Yes, I did what I had to do. What's going on? Let me see what's going on. Yes, I know that I understand that on On Facebook, we all right. On Facebook, we all right. Let me just do something on let me just do something on. Let me see what I can do with respect, of course, to YouTube. I'm literally experimenting here, people, so you would forgive me. Let me just see what's happening here. All right, so we go here. All right, bam, we do this. I'm literally going to put you on at this point in time. So Facebook people, feel comforted. All right. Let me see if I press this, what will happen. Oh goodness, let me see. All right, let me just play some music instead.
Trinidad, oh, she was a beauty with wealth that few surpassed. And in her day, she sailed majestically. There were few in her class. Faithfully, she fulfilled her sailor's need. Some were overpowered by greed, and so they pilfered slow. Some took by bulk and go. Now she looked dull, she's at a lull. She could barely sit on her hull. Captain, the ship is sinking. Captain, the seas are rough. Oh yes, we gas tank almost empty, no electricity. We oil pressure reading low. Shall we abandon ship, or shall we stay on it and perish slow? We don't know. Captain, you tell me what to do. The Trinidad, in her day of sailing,